Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Today our major focus is on one of the left out network, that is the Hopfield network. Okay, it's coming under a category of associate memory network. So we'll be describing one of the architecture. Like there is a kind of network we are talking generally as a feedback architecture. So a kind of feedback architecture is adopted in case of Hopfield network. Hopfield network. Okay. So we'll take an example of one of the network, which is said to be a type of network, even referred as the associative memory network. A type of network is in generally a kind of network. A group of network will come under this. One among them is Hopfield network. Okay. So a type of associative memory network it is. It is a type of even example for feedback network. So I was telling in the earlier classes, there are various architectures like feed forward architecture, simple feed forward or multi-layer feed forward, right? Similarly, there is a feedback, right? This is a type of kind of recurrent network. It is also called as a recurrent network. Example for a recurrent network, say such as Hopfield network. So I was talking earlier, there are different types of memories, and even you know that even microcontroller you may be studied about RAM, ROM, all these. They are said to be byte addressable memories, right? So having a kind of some address like 8800, right, where you can store a byte and you can retrieve it. Storage or retrieval could be possible, right? That is byte addressable or address addressable. That is what they call sometimes. Yeah. So it's a kind of matrix kind of memory, right? You have a register, set of registers, and you'll be going to store, and each register will be referred with an address. You studied in your microcontroller, right? So, but today the challenge is how to mimic a kind of brain, kind of memory that is called content addressable memory. A kind of associative memory concept you find in memory or actual brain system. So that is mimicked here with the small concept of having a pattern stored in a network, such as associative memory network. They call it as CAM, content addressable memories. A network where you can store a pattern or multiple patterns here. And later you can retrieve it or recall it and check, are you able to recollect the stored pattern? Okay. The stored one, whether it is a real matching to the correct one or not, all this you can check. Okay. So a simple memory kind of approach where actually content addressable memory, how to design, right? Using a network, you're talking here in a way, or you are trying to address a kind of problem where you can store a pattern and even though that help in even error detection. Okay, that is what we are going to discuss now, how it will help in some pattern correction procedures. Okay. So as you're aware of, generally, the patterns are stored in the network. Now here, we understand that associative memory, where we will be going to store some key patterns. And later, when you want to retrieve, if you give a key pattern, one of the key pattern, you should be able to retrieve that in the output. If you're able to retrieve, then you can say that you are able to recollect or recall. You can recall the content. Stored content can be recollected, right? Or recalled, or it could be retrieved, right, from the network. That is what we are trying to look for here. Say, for example, if you have a CAM architecture shown as a black box, some network will be there inside. And if you provide certain input, right, what you are expecting is you should be able to store here. And once you store later, whenever you want, even you should be able to recollect, or you should be able to collect it back. Or at the receiver side, if you find some data coming, even how much error is introduced, or whether any error is introduced or minor correction is possible, all these things also can be looked into in a real world problem. Okay. So some error detection and error correction purpose also we can use this, or otherwise it can be used as a simple storage element here, and where you can recollect and you can just demonstrate that even a CAM like memory also can be designed here. Content addressable, a kind of content address memory architecture can be designed here, right? Associative memory can be designed in two styles generally. One is called associative with the number of input nodes equal to number of output nodes in its architecture. That may be referred as auto-associative memory. Okay. So a network with equal number of nodes at input as well as output. Yeah. Yeah. Someone asked something. Are you questioning something or any doubt? Somebody asked something. Excuse me. If you have any doubt, you can clarify that. Okay. The two types of memories or architectures you can find here, or some networks you can find here. Some will have some number of nodes at the input layer will be equal to the output layer. In some kind of network, you will find number of nodes at output layer differing from the input layer. So based on these input and output layer, you can call it as auto-associative or hetero-associative memory networks. One of the basic principle adapted for pattern storage here is a basic rule, like using Heb rule also you can do that. Or you can train a network, or you can store a pattern. Storing a pattern is nothing but training procedure. Okay. It could be achieved either by using Hebbian rule, which we were discussing earlier. You can go iteratively through a procedure where your weights of network could be set by an initial value by varying such a way that delta Wi you can add with the Wi old, right? But when you have a multiple nodes at input, multiple nodes output, we may talk with Wij here. Okay. So that is what you can see here. So Wij new is equal to Wij old plus delta Wij. This is the rule using which even you can try to set the weights, or you can train network. Associative memory network can be trained using Hebbian rule, or the alternatively easiest method is to go with outer product rule. What is this outer product rule suggest? This rule suggests you to multiply a source vector with the target with certain style. So you multiply a source taking as a column vector and take a target as row vector and make a product between them, right? Get a product using them, right? So matrix multiplication, you do it. A row vector of type target and a column vector of type source. Multiply it. So that is going to give you the weight matrix. W is nothing but weights of all individual links which you have between input nodes to output node. If it is a simple associated network, you may have some nodes at input and output. All these nodes are connected by line will have a weight Wij. These weights can be set using a simple rule, multiplication rule. Okay. Any question on outer product rule? You'll be able to train a network, or you'll be able to find the weight matrix of the network using outer product rule. So it is some example of auto-associative architecture where you have n number of inputs, nodes, n number of nodes in the input layer. And output layer also having certain number of nodes which are equal to input number of nodes. That is why even we took here n. In that case, you call that network as auto-associative network. The number of nodes in the input as well as output layer are equal, and each node is connected to each other, right? That is what you can see here. This network can be used for storing some pattern from the input. You can store it. How to set this weight or how to train the network? You can make use outer product rule or Hebbian rule. That is what the suggested methods. Once you store, then you can test whether you can recall the information or not, or you can, for a random data which is received, even are you able to recall corrected version of that? All these you can explore later. Okay. On the other side, what is the heteroassociative? In case of heteroassociative, the output number of nodes will be different. It is not n. It is other than that, maybe some m. Okay. That is the type of architecture we call heteroassociative memory networks. So we are going to take one example under associative memory network, which is basically a Hopfield network. Even you find this is implemented using VLSI for real-time functioning of, that is implemented in the chip. Today, people are going to implement all these networks also in the chips, so that your processing will be little faster than what you do regularly with the software, right? Compared to that, if you can really implement these networks in the hardware, that will improve the performance of the whole machine with respect to some task, right? You can even implement, you can realize these networks in the hardware level. That is what we call VLSI level, right? So this is one of the network even people tried implementing in the network level. This Hopfield network is a very simple network. You can see the architecture is very simple. Okay, it is an example for auto-associative network, but it has only single layer. Example for auto-associative network. What is auto-associative network? It will have number of nodes in the input layer same as the number of nodes in the output layer. But in this case, the layer is single. You have only one layer which acts as input as well as output layer. That is how they suggested. One of the architecture suggested here as one single layer. This is what their research suggests. This acts as receiving layer at one instant. And later, you can also see that this help you to use it as a output layer. For testing also you can use. Okay. You can train this network and you can also test using this. So the architecture, if you study here, you can see the nodes are referred as Y1, Y2, so on, Yj, and There are n number of nodes, yn, right? These are the nodes which are considered. N number of nodes are taken here, right? So these n number of nodes, if you see here, for them, the input is connected as x1, x2, xj, so on, up to n number of. N general architecture is given here. That is why if it is 4 input architecture, there you will have 4 lines, right? But we have suggested n input architecture here. A Hopfield network with n input, which can take some n input pattern, is shown here. So it indicates that in between you have many other input bits. Even here also you have some more. Okay. So the receiving end of node itself is acting as the output layer later, right? So your inputs are provided here initially during the initial round of your training. X1, X2, so on, you'll be providing that. Once you give that, then you can go for the rest training stage. That is why you can see the inputs are provided with dots. If you can see here, it is dotted. That is the intention where they have shown it dotted. The layer is single and you'll be feeding the input and then later you'll be using for different purpose, right? So you'll be storing the pattern here and you'll be updating the weight, and it is done. Once your patterns are stored here in the network using the input lines, then you can go for testing. During that time, testing algorithm can be implemented. That is how the architecture is defined. But the architecture, if you see here closely, if you watch, the output of Y1 can be taken out, but even it is seen that it is fed back to all other nodes. Maybe if you consider Y2, you can take it as output response Y2. Also, it is seen it is fed back to all other nodes. There is no self feedback. You can see here there is no self feedback, but it is fed to all other nodes. There is no feedback in like this, same node. There is no feedback. But all the lines which is going out, it is going out to all the other nodes. A node from Y2, it is given to all other like Y1, Yj, Yn, so on, all the other nodes. You can see self-feedback connection is not connected here. Okay. Is it clear? And the weights here are referred as, suppose it is connected from Y1 to Y2. Then you call the weight as W1, 2. From node 1 to node 2 you are connecting. So node 1 to node J you can call W1J. Similarly, jth node to nth node you can call it as a weight W nj, sorry, jn, wjn, so on. Any clarification? Any doubt here? What is the architecture regarding? So weight can be set here using outer product rule, using source vector and target vector. As I was mentioning, it is a multiplication of those two vectors in a suitable form. One is at column vector representation, source vector you keep as a column vector, row vector you keep it as a the target vector you keep it as a row vector and multiply them, right? That is how you can train the network, or you can subsequently follow Hebbian rule and you can train. Okay, that is how you can store the pattern. Training is a process, all of you know that. During that you can store a pattern or multiple pattern here. Okay. Testing is a process where you will be recalling the stored pattern. Okay. So testing is a process. The stored pattern, if it is 1011, you have to able to store. Okay, during the training, you have to able to store it using set weight. You will be able to store it. But during the recollecting time or testing time, suppose if random input is given, you can check that whether that information is stored in that or not. Suppose there is a memory already, and you have already stored some pattern in that. Testing is a procedure where you can check, are you having that pattern inside or not? Okay. Does that 1011 a pattern is stored here or not? That you can check. So a particular data, whether it is available or not, you can verify with the help of testing. Like how you test in the examination, right? For a given question, you will just think and write. If you have already read, you can able to recollect and you can able to write the answer for that. In a similar style, now you will be able to test a network, CAM memory or associative memory network by just giving certain input. Whether it is stored, if there is a stored pattern of similar type, it will retrieve. If there is no similar pattern stored in that, it may not able to retrieve the data. Or it will may not give the similar match. Or it cannot able to recollect or recall the data stored in that case, right? Anyway, it is a small memory which help you to go in that direction. Or it is a small network which help you to go towards storage of some information, right? So what is the testing algorithm is used in case of Hopfield? Sorry. There is a testing algorithm for testing the network. What is this testing algorithm starts with? Anyway, initially you may have to store the pattern, that is a requirement. Once you store, then you can go with the testing. The testing can be proceeded with some convergence algorithm, where you will be trying to generate yi at each out node, because you have only one single layer of node, right? As we see here, architecture, they are having only one layer, right? Initially, you store the pattern with the weight vector, initializing maybe outer product rule. Using that, you store the weight matrix elements. That means you are storing the information. Once you do that, then you give a random data which need to be tested. Here. At that time, it will try to check whether you are able to recall a correct stored pattern or not. Okay, that is what it is trying to do. So during that time, you will be following some convergence algorithm, or you generate an output yi. At a time, you will be generating one response element for the output vector. Output may have n elements. As you see here, it is a n element layer. So output response could be y1, y2, etc. can have n elements. It is nothing but a vector, n element vector, right? But in order to get this, what you are trying to do is you are trying to do a process, iterative process, where you try to get a response each time for one node, yi. Okay. So in a approach, you will be trying to find out net input at ith node, one of the node. For considering that, you find the net input. For that for that node which you find net input, even you can find a response later. How to find out net input at a node? It considers its input, that node input, and a product or the inputs from all other input lines. Any class. So you can see here a node. When you take a node here, its net input can be calculated by considering input as well as the other inputs. So that is what arriving at a node. So considering that, you'll be estimating its net input. So xi plus summation of j is equal to 1 to n yj wji. That is what the equation. Once you find net input, the rule is same. You may have to evaluate it with some activation function. That is defined here as yi is equal to 1 if net input is greater than some theta, or if net input value equal to theta, right? There are different conditions shown here. You have to evaluate as per the condition here. Whether net input is greater than theta or less than theta or equal to theta. These three decides the value of output response. Whether equal to 1 or equal to same as. When it's equal to theta, it is same as, right? Earlier response, YA. So there is some convergence approach we'll be trying to follow here. Just find the response of a node each time and check for all the nodes what is the final response it is trying to generate. If it is able to generate a response of same type which is stored pattern, then you can say convergence happened or recall is done properly. Okay, that is what you are trying to explore here. So let us see some example here. Let us take some example. I'll take one example which includes some of the details. If anyone has any question, you can tell me. You can ask the question. Anyone has any questions at this point of time? Anyone has any questions? Aishwarya? Srihasha? Are you having any question? Aditya?
No, sir.
Okay. So quickly we'll run through some example here. Okay. So please understand there is an architecture and there is a network. Now we need to go through a problem and let us try to understand how it is implemented here. Okay, the concept what we discussed. So can you read the question once, all of you? Please go through the question. Are you able to see the question? Is it possible to read, or you want to make me to enlarge it a bit more?
Yes.
Say there is a question like construct an auto-associative network to store the vectors x1, that is one pattern, okay, and x2, there is another pattern, and x3 is the third pattern. Then find the matrix with no self connection. That means it is talking about one of the Hopfield network which we discussed. There is no self feedback. Okay. Anyway, the second part we didn't discuss. Leave that. Energy calculation. Leave that. Using discrete Hopfield network, now you may have to do the rest like testing. Suppose given random pattern such as x1 is given, then you should be able to check whether you are able to retrieve that or not. Are you able to retrieve the pattern from this network or not? So you have stored three patterns, x1, x2, x3. Now later you'll be checking whether you are able to retrieve the test pattern. Okay, that's what you're trying to do here. Now the given testing pattern is maybe 111 minus 1 1. It may be stored or may not be stored. Okay, because it's a random pattern which is arriving. If it is stored, then if it is retrieved, then you can say that satisfactorily the stored pattern is retrieved, right? Anyway, let us see what's happening here. How to store the pattern here? You can use one way is to use Hebb rule with the iterative procedure. Otherwise, you can use outer product rule. So what we have made is we have went for the second option. So W, nothing but the weight matrix for the network. Okay, all of you can just tell me how many nodes are required in this network now. We already said the Hopfield network will have a single layered architecture, feedback architecture. So since there are inputs of type 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, total 5 inputs are there. You can see 5 inputs are there. 5-digit inputs you find in X1 or 5-digit input you find in X2, right? The patterns are 3. Maybe this is the first pattern, this is the second pattern, this is the third pattern. You want to store all these 3 patterns and you might have to try for retrieving this, right? So what you have to do is you may have to go for using either outer product rule or Hebbian rule. So suppose if you are having multiple patterns, yes, what you are trying to do here, if you see, you will be calculating W1, W2 and W3 and then you are adding it. W is nothing but W1 plus W2 plus W3. All these are some matrices. Nothing but if you take X1 as a first pattern, using that you may have to check what is the W1 or what is the weight matrix you need to set for storing that. Similarly, there is a pattern X2, right? Second pattern P2 or X2. For storing the second 5 elements in this pattern, you call it as the X2, right? What is the weight matrix required? That may be W2. Similarly, the third pattern could be saved with weight matrix W3. But when you store it one after other, their weight would be saved in those links only, available links. So what you are trying to do here is you'll be trying to add W1, W2 and W3 here. Okay. So what is W1? W1 is nothing but one of the weight matrix which help you to show the first pattern, X1. So how you calculate? Take input and what is the expected retrieved data for this? That is the target. That is same as that. So we kept one column and one in the row direction. This is actually target. This is the source. The two vectors, one is source vector, one is the target vector. So we mentioned that the outer product rule says that transpose of source vector into target vector will help you to generate a weight matrix. Now you are calculating W1 using that, using this W2, using this W3. But what exactly you are doing, please understand here. You are taking this pattern X1, writing in a, considering that as a source and writing in the column direction, like column vector form. And then you'll be writing it once again in the row form. Why you are writing row form? Assuming that that is the only you want to retrieve it. If you store that and you want to retrieve, then the target is nothing but the same vector, right? That is why we took that as a row vector. This is the target. This is the source vector, written as a transpose form. S to the power t means transpose, right? You have studied that. S to the power t indicate transpose of a source vector. So what you are trying to do here, you will be calculating W1 here, W2 here, W3 here. I think all of you know this kind of operation of multiplying two vectors. So there you get your matrices, right? You add them, W1, W2, W3. How to calculate, I think all of you know, I'm not going to explain that, right? Once you get these matrices from these three matrices like W1, W2, W3, you can add them. That will give you the actual weight matrix of your network. Which network you're talking? You're talking about a network having 5 nodes. Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Y5. Where you can feed your X1, X2, so on, X5. I mean, since it is shown X1, you don't get confusion with that. X1 will have 5 elements, right? That and architecture labeling is same. Don't confuse. Otherwise, you take this as P1. Then you can avoid the confusions. These inputs, whatever the input pattern you are feeding here, I have kept this alarm for assignment. It's afterwards, not now. Okay. So now you can see there is a weight matrix which is set for all the link which you are connected here, right? That is what it is going to define as W. We have a diagram here, right? Similar to that, but now only 5 nodes are there in that given case. I think architecture I have shown you earlier. Here is that. I was talking about Hopfield network, right? The architecture with the feedback. This is the one. It's the general architecture, but in my case, I have now in the given problem, there are 5 nodes. Is it clear? Any clarification there? Anyone not following what I'm trying to talk? Want have any clarification? That is why you found I took example of 14. So you calculated a weight matrix, okay, which is W. It may have other elements when you calculate that you don't consider. They said that there is no self connection. You can make it zeros. All this diagonal you can make zeros. It is referring to self connection. Hello. I think no one is talking. Are you available online?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Now let me
Yes, sir.
take a simple pattern problem that is having 3 patterns. Okay. How to recall the simple pattern I will take. I will take a question number 13 just to make it very simple. Say instead of having 4 patterns, I'll just take 1 pattern now. I just gave an example to say that multiple patterns can be saved. How to save? Just to show that I have just demonstrated 14. Now let us see question number 13, where there is one single pattern. Okay, you have to save and you have to recollect. How we can adapt or apply this Hopfield network testing algorithm for recalling. That is what we'll try to look here. Okay, or how we can make use some missing entries, or how to correct some of the element of that we can check with this example. So I'm taking a simple problem comparatively, where one of the pattern will be stored, like pattern is 1 1 1 minus 1. Okay, this is the one I'm going to store. So my network will have only 4 nodes in this case. Is it clear? So now in this problem, in order to calculate weight matrix, you have to use the same outer product rule. Transpose of input and target you'll be multiplying. So your input is said to be having 1 1 1 minus 1. So you can multiply it and you get the weight matrix. These are nothing but the weights of individual link, like which goes from y1 to y2, w11, like w11, w12, so on, right? All the weights. But what happens is w11 is a self weight that is not considered in case of Hopfield. That is why I'm making it as 0. W11, W22, W33, all these are said to be self connections. You make it as 0. Rest you consider. Okay. Now the weight matrix indication says that you have set the weights of each line. That means that you have already done the training. This is a procedure which help you to store the pattern. When you calculate this weight matrix and store the values with every line with these values, no weight matrix value, you understand that the network is trained with. Suppose there is a network having 5 nodes. How many nodes? 4 nodes here. In this case, you gave the input and you have set all the weights of this network, right? Suppose if you have set all these things, right? Similarly, the other node from here also it goes to all other. If you set all these lines with the W, which is given here, you understand that the given pattern is stored here. Okay, the binary pattern 111 minus 1, or if you take that minus 1 as 0, it will be 1110. That is a binary representation of, in case of binary, otherwise bipolar it will be, right? 111 minus 1 is a bipolar representation. Sometimes in order to use in the algorithm, they use even binary representation. Okay, so binary representation of that is 1110, right? Now you have stored a pattern of 111 minus 1 as binary representation 1110, or bipolar, like with minus 1. But suppose you have done that, how you can recollect, or how you can recall, how you can check that whether it is stored or not. So in order to do that, you have to follow the testing algorithm. You have to apply the testing algorithm which we have quickly went through. Okay, or even if you want a bit pattern which is arriving, and say sometime you want to check that any channel error has been introduced in the arriving bit, we call or missing data in the binary bits. If you want to check, it is also possible using this architecture. How you can test the vector which is arriving to the network for 2 missing entries, that is what explained here. If you want to just check whether recalling is possible, the procedure is simple actually. You take your input given and you try to follow the algorithm. Check for convergence. Okay, there is a convergence procedure, like you have to find out what is the response of y1, y2, y3. Randomly you can do that, but for all the nodes you have to find out one by one after other, following the algorithm. Now instead of doing that recalling, I'm just going for that could be, you can read it if you have a doubt, we'll discuss about. It is a similar procedure, but I'm directly taking up an example which talks about two missing data. Okay, two missing entries. If suppose any entry is missing in the given pattern like 1110, then that entry will be represented with a 0 in that place. Okay. Suppose there is a missing component in one of the bit place, first bit and second bit, that will be replaced by a 0, and you'll be considering that missed bit place indicating a 0. Okay. The missing component in the first place and second place are indicated with zeros, and the template is now binary template of that is 0010. Now taking this as the arriving signal or the input to the pattern network, associative memory network, you should be able to check whether you can recollect the actual pattern what is expected to be. Or what is the actual stored pattern from this can you able to recollect. That's what you are trying to do here. So what you are trying to do here is you take now the bit pattern which is error, and that you are giving it as input to your network, and you will be checking what is the output it is generating, and is that output is the corrected one, or whether the network is able to correct. All this you can verify. Okay, so in order to do that, there is a algorithm what we discussed, testing algorithm, that need to be followed. So it is a iterative procedure where you need to find out y1, y2, etc. responses from each node by finding net input at a node. So you can choose randomly one node at a time, but you take all the nodes and complete the process of convergence and check whether this response finally will be converging to the required one or not. If not, you may have to go recursively. Okay, that is what they suggest. Say for example here in our problem, now the input pattern with the two missing are 0010, and you choose y1 as a node where you are finding the output response. For finding the output response, the first step always at a node is to find the net input. Then you find the output response by using some activation function, right? So these things you are doing now, first finding the net input at a particular y1. So that is nothing but net input is nothing but here x1. That is the input what it receives along with the feedback other details, right? So if you consider all the other details here, so that is what you are calculating here. So yj into wj1, yj, wj1, wj1 refers to, suppose you took j as certain value 1, then what is the column you will be referring here? See 0, 1, 1 minus 1. J is equal to 1 will be referred to weight matrix first column. Okay. So now what you are trying to do here is this particular 0010, that is the input x. So x and sorry, that is the input x. Okay, and this is wj1, right? That w, particularly considering the first column, you'll be trying to operate now, and you are finding the response here. What is the x1 that time for that node? That is 0. What is 0? Because of the missing component, in the pattern here, this is the x1. Don't make confusion. Like so, they took here x. In this given example, it is x. Don't think the earlier x1, x2 example. So in this vector, the first element is x1, second element is x2, third element x3, x4. That is how they considered in the example. Don't make any confusions. So x1 is 0. And you'll be correspondingly taking the other value using this input. Using the column vector, right? Wj1. This is a vector x into wj1, right? So once you calculate, the response need to be evaluated with the particular rule. With the theta is 0 if you consider. It will generate a response which may be not seen as the actual stored one sometime because you have done only one step of iteration, first iteration. So you can find that the input is 0, 0, 1, 0, which is given. But you are getting 1, 0, 1, 0, but actually stored may be 1, 1, 1, 0, right? This is the actual stored one. Compared to this, this has difference. So there is no convergence, right? So this is the one which is stored. Now take all other nodes like similarly, maybe y4 they have done. And the response, if you find out y4 is say 0 here. So when you get y4 0 in that pattern, whatever you have, input pattern, for example here, the input pattern with error which has come is 0, 0, 1, 0. But when you find in the step 3, y1 is equal to 1, you replace that. And that is how you write it as 1, 0, 1, 0. So once you calculate this now, this will be broadcasted to all other nodes. See, when you do first time finding a response from one node like y1, what is the procedure suggests is you calculate a response from a node and broadcast it to all. Okay. Iteratively, like until you finish all the nodes. Now, once you calculate y1, response of y1, you update the input as 1010. And this information 1010 is broadcasted to all other nodes with the feedback path. And you'll be estimating rest of the nodes. Like y1 to y4 are the 4 nodes you have here. Among them, at one node you have found out the response and even broadcasted it to all other nodes. Now you have to find out similarly next what is the response from the other node. Maybe any randomly you can take. They have taken y4. You find the response with that broadcast and then once again broadcast that to every other node. This should be repeated until you finish all the nodes or until the convergence happens. Convergence means until you recall the actual data. This is a process recursively it is done. So if you see here, yeah, assignment is out. Yeah. Please go ahead. Yeah.